he like he says it's gonna let's just keep going at it. So you're gonna see with the anima, you're going to see rugs with patterns. So you're going to look at almost some type of a mandala type of uh, uh, thing with the anima. So now it's about ready to start. You're not ready for it. So the conscious mind is resisting going with the anima to look at patterns on that are mandala patterns. Um, you need to shave and get ready. You thought the appointment was later, so the conscious attitude doesn't really, and now Susan's not around. So you see two unknown women. So now there's a quaternity. There's three women and you. And uh, there are two unknown women, and one of them gets up to embrace you. So she's giving she is relating to you with the feeling function and with the feminine eros, you know, and you like it, even though there is another resistance that it might be COVID related or something. And then you sit down. Okay. Now I'm going to do one more thing here. Okay. Now I'm going to do it like a fairy tale. Okay. I'm with the bridge to the self. She's going to show me a symbol of wholeness. My conscious attitude resists. Um, I finally go out and in a hallway, in a in in a place of it's a transition. Really, any room or any vessel or anything, any house or anything represents a sort of uh, a a some type of a vessel, but then the hallway in between represents some kind of a journey from one uh, state to the other. And in the hallway are the is two unknown women, which now forms the quaternity. So there's four of you. So now you really do form a mandala, and one of them is engages with you um, in a spirit uh, of bringing together of eros and feeling. So anyway, does anybody have any comments on the stream? I'm going to think about it while you do it. Why don't how about you, Roy?
Yeah, well, I was thinking, rug, what's under the rug?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's getting ready, but his uh, he's a little bit hesitant. He has to work on his persona some, so he's running a little late to show his true self. And then the unknown two women, which he warms up to, gets a hug from one, but he has a fear of COVID, so there's this hesitance. So it seems like something to do with the animal, being exposed to the animal. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
getting that kind of angle a little bit. I don't know. I'm kind of
yeah,
rough in
yeah.
something here.
There's resistance at two things. Like if if you put it into two-act play, one is with the with a known anima, and we resist her. She's giving us a she wants to bring us to show us um, patterns of wholeness, and we resist her, and we think that somehow there's we have we it should happen, but it's not gonna it's possibly not going to happen. Then you leave the unknown anima, or the known anima now is absent, and then you meet two unknown anima in the hallway with the patterns of wholeness now actual. And so there's not only the patterns of wholeness, but there is also um, a ritual of uniting, you know, of her embracing you, is a symbolic act of um, of, it's a tangible act of the function of eros, you know, which is bringing together. She's actually showing you that she's so. Let me just try one more time, and that is the first one is just the potential of some of the anima showing you of wholeness. The second one is the unknown anima uh, actually does is there with the wholeness, and now you do connect with their, but it's not with the intimate anima. So it's ordinary anima.
Yeah, it seems like he's probably come back. Well, whose dream is this? Can I just ask?
It's mine, and I put it up in the chat window, so you can look at the chat window, and the whole thing is there.
Okay, I'll have a quick look.
I don't see anything in the chat.
Really? Oh, well,
Yeah,
you know
me
what?
neither.
Let me copy.
Geez,
I see it in there.
You might have come in late. I'll put it up a second time, okay?
watching
Okay,
Netflix.
yeah,
Now you should see it. You see
Yep.
it now?
I see it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you dropped off there, Craig. And you're muted. Craig, you're muted.
He made me a host. I don't know.
Craig, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. It's just something. Anyway, I will. I'm going to check and see. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, we've still recovering from the storm, but anyway. So, did you guys finish with the dream? I mean, it's basically is that there's something the known anima wants us to view the patterns of wholeness. We don't actually do that, but we do it with the unknown anima, not in a hallway, which is a mysterious place. And then you not only get to see it with the anima, but then she actually gets up and makes this overt gesture to connect with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean.
No, I think we've got it. I think we can go on to the next one. That's
Okay. Yeah, I am sorry about that. Now, Tim, weren't we going to finish up on yours from last time?
Yeah. I sent you a text copy and a drawing, but I can bring those up.
Yeah, if you could. Yeah. Did you just send it, or did I miss it?
Oh, probably half an hour ago.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me look at my email. You know, we just doubled our internet's bandwidth here, and yeah, I don't know, but it got kind of screwed up with the okay, here it is, Tim's screen. Okay.
I can bring up the drawing on the screen.
Yes,
share.
if you why don't you bring up the drawing and put it up there, and I'm going to read it one more time because my notes are not very good. Okay. Down the street from my folks' house is this huge mansion where a family lives. It is new to me, though I've been exploring it through a telescope. The architecture is encrusted with some kind of sculpted lettering, which winds around the outside, laying out perhaps well-known sayings. Somehow I get permission to document the work on the outside and go over and climb around, taking photographs. But part of it I can't access, so I go to the door to ask how. I've heard the story of the family that lives there, tall man with blonde hair in his 40s, perhaps 3 or 4 kids, their late teens and 20s. No contact with the mother. The oldest boy answers my knock and invites me in. He and his siblings are very friendly. To my delight, begins showing me around the house. It's fairly modern, but in a neoclassical way. All the art is conservative Western. I wonder if they'd be interested in my art. Anyway, the kids give me something wrapped in a plastic bag that seems like a wad of money. As we tour the house, I leave it on an obvious shelf so I don't have to carry it around. We ascend into a courtyard where I've heard has been flooded. We wade through the water, climbing stairs, and enter a doorway, but realize the water has not sopped in my pants. So we decided kind of that this is the living water of Mercury. It's an expensive, special kind of non-intrusive water. Then we go inside, and they start introducing me to musical instruments. We all play together, and I jump in and improvise, playing like a long sitar that connects to a set of distant organ pipes or some such thing. We're having a delightful conversation. I'm having a great time playing a lot, bending notes, when something in the distance mechanism on these pipes breaks or has to be adjusted. This happens all the time, they say, and so we stop so adjustments can be made. The girl, who is maybe in her late teens and quite attractive, leads me upward through the house. She tells me she's been to our house, but that my mom turned her away, which I find very unusual for my mother. I am very much looking forward to seeing the mechanism, exploring the original architectural spot, and mostly getting to know this amazing family. At one point, an older woman friend of mine takes me to kind of an upper garage where she exclaims delightfully, turning to some posters displayed in the cabinet. I look in, it's one of the items from an old gallery show of mine from many years ago. So now let's look at your painting. I haven't seen that yet. Okay, so there is the house. So we started out with the first part is that this is a house that we've admired from afar from a long time ago with the telescope. So now we've been given permission to look at it without the telescope, and it is covered with mysterious sayings, and so it's sort of almost seems like it's the house of wisdom. Charles is here. Okay. It's some house that at least on the outside is displaying some type of special knowledge. Let's put it that way. But there's part of it you can't reach. So now you think I have to go in. I have to go within. So you knock on the door, and you meet. I think you were saying earlier 6 children.
I thought it was either 3 or 4 children.
Yeah, okay. At least 3 or 4. And they're very friendly. They give you psychic energy, but you put it on a shelf. And then they give you a tour of the house. And now get to the place where the music is. That's where you go. Before it was after the woman was leading you to show you the mechanism that we found the water, but now it was on the way to the music. Is that correct? Is that the right sequence? Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So you're going to the place of the feeling function. Okay. Let's go through this. First, you come to a house that displays its place of special knowledge, okay, that you've only seen from afar with a telescope. So it's the almost like the yonder shore. And so you finally come to the yonder shore, the special place of knowledge. But there's parts of it you can't reach, and you know that you aren't encompassing at all. So you knock on the door, you go in. There's all these people are very accepting, very friendly. So it's like the psyche is welcoming you. You know, these people, these inward beings are very happy to see you. You know, now they give you psychic energy there. I mean, this is a place where you gain psychic energy, and it's freely given to you. Okay, then you're going to the place of the feeling function where there's music. But to get there, you go through this magic water, which is doesn't stick to you. It's like mercury. It doesn't make you wet. You know, so it's dry water. So you know that's what mercury is. This dry liquid. You know, has that quality. So you're really going through through mercury is a transforming substance. You know, there is it's a magical substance. So to get to the feeling function, the place, the inner sanctum of feeling, you go there, and there is you have to first immerse yourself. Like I was going to read the Red Book, and then they said, no, we're going to read the real Red Book. And before they read the real Red Book, it had to be immersed in this living water, and then we could read the real Red Book. So this is kind of a threshold crossing through some type of magical substance to get there. It's very magical. It has great value. You know, it's full of value. So then you go and you are participating with the psyche, with the feeling function. You know, and Jung says that any image that you don't give the feeling function to is you know is not really assimilated. It's always conceptual. It needs the feeling function. So, but yet there's a discordant note because the mechanism, which has to do with pneuma, it's these organ pipes, doesn't um, work properly. So then the anima
Oops, you froze up.
is going to
Yeah.
take you to the place where the mechanism is. And the delight. Were you going up or making an ascent?
Yeah, it seems like the whole thing was ascending and increasingly
Yeah,
ascending.
just continual ascent into higher levels of knowledge. You know, well, the organ pipes have to do with the pneuma, and she's also very young, and so then uh, you go down a hallway. You're just full of delight, and there you meet the wise old woman, and she takes to show you. Now we before the art in there is very conventional, so it's in this place, this magical place, this place of special wisdom, this place of the feeling function, this place of the living water, and yet the art there is very pedestrian. And then you go into the and meet the wise old woman, and she shows you some of your art that she's very delighted in. So it's all together. It's just this magical journey, you know. But is it really satisfying? Does it have a conclusion? Why don't you start, Gary? And
Well, one of the things that struck me, and I could be way off base here, but I mean, we've got all these symbols on the outside of the building. And, it occurred to me like, well, sometimes these meanings are just very stark. And I thought, what if this is the writing on the wall? And he's supposed to go study this. And after he goes and studies the writing on the wall, then he has to go inward, he has to go into the psyche, into the building to kind of complete this. But it's like, it's like this stark thing of, okay, here is the writing on the wall. You need to study this, and then the rest of it kind of follows with that because it's this inward journey. That was the other thing I kind of picked up.
That makes
Yes,
good sense.
place of special knowledge, inward journey, feeling function, the lyrical. You have any comments, Tim? Or
Well, that makes good sense. And another thing that came to my mind was, I'm not used to being in spaces with bad art.
Mhm.
And here I live in this building and the art is like the doorway to the next world. And so maybe in the dream world, this is like the other side of the mirror, that looking at the art, you're all of a sudden looking at the plebeian world where there's little depth.
Well, the art there is not does not have the value of the other items in that place. There's a lot of value. They give you, the psychic energy. There's the value of the living water. There's the value of the energy of the people. There's the value of the anima, and there's the value of the. So everything is of high value except art, which is what you specialize in. So it's saying that there might be some aspect of that that you need to the living aspect is not all in the art. There's something else that is possibly missing. How about you, Roy? What do you think?
Oh yeah, I have a different interpretation. I was talking about last week. Uh, the family was so warm to him, and he's calling their art plebeian, and he doesn't. It's like the value of this is unconscious to him. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the folk artist, Henry Darger,
Oh, yeah.
Darger. You have Tim?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Now this guy, uh, he wasn't an artist. He had no training. It's I don't know what you think of his arts, but you got to admit that it was his best way to express himself. That the world couldn't give him that.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
beautiful.
Well, in a way, that's the ordinary world. This guy lived in poverty. He was as plebeian as you can get. He was even below plebeian. And I don't know what people think of his art, but I know the rich people, the avant-garde and all that, when he died and his room was discovered, and the rich exploited his art. I don't know. I just think I think I've read somewhere where Jung said before that you have to see the miraculous in the ordinary, and you just seem to be missing that. I don't see the water as mercury. I see it as feeling, and you didn't get wet with the feeling. I mean, that's just me. That's how I see it.
It's really it is, even if it's not mercury, it's something that's high value and very unusual. So it's there's a magical quality to it. How about you, Charles?
Just a minute. What do you mean by didn't get wet with the feeling? Can you elaborate on that?
Okay. Uh, Water to me is, I'm a Pisces, and I have lots of water, and I'm a very feeling person. And to me, because you didn't get wet with the water, you're unconscious of the feeling in the dream, the feelings that were given towards you. you, they didn't get absorbed.
You said last time something didn't soak in.
Right.
It's almost like it surrounds you, but it doesn't touch you, would be another way to look at it.
Right.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Air, water, or something that doesn't soak in. So could either, but it has very high value there. I mean, there's you have a feeling that's very expensive. So I'm not really sure about that. But what do you think? Let's get it hear from everybody. Charles, how about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm happy that there's an illustration this time. Really brings a lot to it. And the script that is right above the instrument, I don't know what this is worth, but it just screams Japanese to me. It looks like hiragana, which is a Japanese script. It's their native to spell words that are natively Japanese and things. But I don't know if it's my lack of understanding or if this is really the case, but the dream seems so like episodal that it is but an episode amongst a longer storyline. And one thing that I thought was really interesting, another contrast, which kind of seems to be my specialty in looking at dreams, is seeing what the opposites are. So the art, the music is great. The music is this living art that's in motion, that has a life. It's so finite. It starts and then it stops and it's just over, just like life. The things that are the art that's like not really cared for is the paintings on the wall. They're static. They are they are suspended on the wall in just a non-animated form. And well, yeah, the music's great. It's living, it's kind of breathing, it's vibrating, but then this static art on the wall with, it's not just that it's, I don't know, there's like a lifelessness to it. And I thought that was an interesting contrast looking at it this time. And yeah, the idea of the water, it's almost like, you know, is it the nature of the water, or is it the nature of Tim in this dream to not take in the water? Like when water is absorbed into you, it's like you're kind of, you know, your skin is kind of like impregnated by it. Like it's in you now. It's a taking in of the water. And I just, the first time I heard this dream last week, I thought to myself, there has to be some alchemical manuscript somewhere that says, do this to the water, which would be analogous with it being expensive, and it will not take to the subject in order for some sort of process. I swear I would bet my life on there being some alchemical manuscript about that. But yeah, and I liked what Craig said about it's like the house of the psyche, kind of like welcoming Tim into it. And I don't really have a whole lot of that other than just it does really kind of seem like it's a psyche house. It's like a home of kind of these unconscious figures or figures in the unconscious. It's I don't really have a whole lot more else than that. It's a very it's a dream, so it's bizarre and abstract, but it's a puzzler, you know.
Well, you know what you said, just a couple things to review what you said. The dynamic aspect, there's a lot of dynamism in the house. Where there's no dynamism is in a static art. So there's some message being sent about art and about living, because everything else is totally alive. It's just completely compellingly alive. I mean, just you can feel it, you know, just in every image. the way that you come in there, they're just all alive. They give you psychic energy. They let's go do this, and oops, the pneuma doesn't work, so let's go fix the pneuma, and then you go through this thing of the living water and the outside. The fact that there's that it was far away. You only looked at it with a telescope before. You know, Jung says in the memories, dreams, and reflections, he looks at his soul with a telescope. You know, I mean, this is kind of you're looking at your soul with a telescope, and then you go to it. You look at it at the outside, and then you penetrate into it, and it's full of all these figures who are delighted to see. They almost were waiting for you, and they give you gifts, and they want you to participate in their world. You know, so anyway, the fact the contrast between the dynamism of everything in there, other than the art, is very interesting. Now, Christian, did you have any comments about it?
No, thanks. This is my first time, and this is really interesting discussion. So I'm just glad to be here, and thanks for everybody for sharing with us. Thanks.
Okay, sure thing, Christian, and we will want to hear maybe one of your dreams sometime too. How about you, Ivan? We haven't. Must have been pretty busy lately. You always have great amplified thoughts.
I think so. I don't have a good I don't have a good handle on this dream. I don't know if I have anything to add to it.
Yeah, it's a I think it is a dream full of mystery, you know, and I know it's a very important dream, you know. And now, how about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I do have something to say about this dream. Yeah, like of even when I heard it, it was yeah. I you know there are some dreams which I feel is very like it's only at the personal level, and I think this, this really goes into someone's core. And so, I mean, what I see in this dream is that you are giving permission. In the beginning, you are giving permission to study the psyche. It's not so. The psyche is telling you you are permit. Yeah, it allows you access, and the psyche is really the you can say the master. It's not the ego. And even when you go there, I mean, you had to crawl. You're crawling down. It just shows your relationship. Your ego's relationship to the psyche. And I think also the writings is very important, because when we study dreams for such a long time, which I haven't done, but you can still experience, whether through I Ching or what other means, the reality of the psyche. And the writing is sort of your building block, or humanity's building block, towards an ego consciousness. We are just not made out of our ego, but we are made of our ancestors and so on. Even the sun, even all the minerals and materials, and they have made all of this huge building with pillars. That's really one that is supporting you and humanity as such. And I do think it's Mercury. It didn't soak into your pants, but like Craig said, it doesn't have a container. And this is really, I think, Jung's talking about so much is about the image of reincarnating God. Reincarnating God image. And how do you reincarnate God's image? I mean, I feel is the crust of Jung's work, is that God wants to be known, so he can know himself. And that's one of the means through that is art. If you can portray God, then you're also portraying part of yourself, but also God, can see you in that sense. And so, we often talk about Mercury, and you even have this in one of your dreams where the animal was burned, and there was like your psyche turned you know, into these two salamander figure, and they were crawling up you. And so this crawling up you is essentially also, you know, the urge, the urge or the impulse to realize the reality of the psyche, you know, is now come below your feet, is now crawling up. And now it's allowed you permission to enter into the field of psyche. And so, you know, and so the mercury is also a substance of the psyche, which needs to be transformed. And it needs to be transformed because it is, you know, they use the word chaos or so on. But when Jung used to say chaos, he meant undifferentiated. It not so much is chaotic, like, but it's more undifferentiated. Something is not specialized. And so the fluidity in that courtyard, you know, if you even if you go to museum, courtyard is where they put statues, is where they put archetypes. So you have an archetype here, which is still in its fluid state, which, so you can say there is a God image that still needs to be incarnated, something that hasn't become conscious of itself. And so that is a living myth. If you can portray that God, you know, that would be your living myth. And even all of this is a living myth, but it's just, yeah. So to understand the mercury substance, it needs a means of expression. I think this is your art. You're studying the psyche from, with your telescope from afar. You are, you know, you are sort of enthralled by this architect aspect. And now you want to enter in and you meet the different unconscious aspect of yourself. And like, you know, you're welcome, and they're giving you energy, which is the money. And so, and you're jamming with them. The jamming with them means that you can synchronize with your unconscious. There's still somewhat the what is coming out from this jamming, obviously, you know, when you jam, the music that comes on the other end doesn't sound quite right, but nevertheless you're still synchronized with them. So there's still some work. And yes, perhaps the last thing is you end up in the garage, and the garage is often where we put old stuff and, you know, stuff which we haven't or we want to, yeah. So I think this is also a container of the archetype. You know, the poster are the archetypal images. And one of the archetypal images which is still sort of there is one of your exhibition. I think that's very important, the exhibition. And, you know, I think it's less important. I don't know, like, I think it's best you make the association, like, you know, what association you have to this image, whether it's dry, it doesn't matter. But like the very fact that she has your image and the very fact that it is from one of your exhibition, I think it's very worthwhile thinking about.
Well, yeah, it's interesting that in this living house of the psyche, which you got the invitation to, the only thing that's not living is art, your outer world activity. You know, so it's complementary to the outer world activity, but it's saying its life, your soul has a richness that's much deeper
Yes. Yes.
than art. So it's kind of, you know, you need to, there's an aspect of that you need to become like Leonardo, you know, more of a universal being, you know, something like that. Michelle, do you have any comments about it?
Thank you for allowing.
Yeah. Okay, Michelle, maybe could you turn your video off for just a
Me
little
and
bit? Yeah. That might help the connection a little.
Happened to follow upon you when I saw you on Facebook. I didn't realize it was a men's group, and just briefly, it's lovely. You talk about Mercury. Did you hear me?
Yes. You might want to just turn your video off for just a
Okay.
bit, and we could hear you probably better.
Yeah, you're just lagging a little bit, maybe poor connection.
Okay. You hear
Yeah,
me
just
now?
maybe just turn your video off for a
Yes.
second. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's
Video
better.
is
Yeah.
off.
Go
Out.
ahead.
Is that better?
Yes,
Is
much
that better?
better. Much
Well,
better.
you know, I don't know the dreamers amplification, you know, in terms of many of these symbols, I'm hearing it. And I think the amplification your friends are providing is wonderful, helpful. You mentioned Mercury, and I've been studying alchemy lately. And of course, Mercury is always present, huh? And the solutio, the dissolving, the water that dissolves and recombines to balance within the psyche. And there's water is also renewal, and it's also the bath of new life. And therefore, it has some transcendent overtones, as well as the feminine feeding function, so forth. So there are other hints of the transcendent function there too, not just the entire opus of the becoming whole, but the courtyard. The courtyard is a symbol of the self. And there it is, that open square of wholeness. And there it is. The first thing I thought about was Jung's inscription on his home in Bollingen. And the putting of a cryptic inscription on the front door of Jung's home says something about writing the words of mystery and wisdom. Even Jung put it on his house. And so I thought, well, that was good. The organ pipes, again, organ music, the music is the art of music through an organ. Where is the organ usually played? In cathedrals and churches, the most transcendent celestial music. And so I think this is an absolutely beautiful dream.
Oh, that is so beautiful, Michelle. The courtyard is, which is the inner sanctum, you know.
Yes.
Yes. And
Yes.
it's
Yes.
a quaternity, and it's
Yes,
full
exactly.
of this magic living water.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that is beautiful.
Beautiful.
The fact that
It's just a
courtyard is very
beautiful
important.
symbol of wholeness and a transcendence. Just a beautiful picture. One to treasure, a dream to treasure. And you being an artist can probably draw different sections of it in different ways.
Right. That's great. Thank you, Michelle.
Well, that's what I hit me too, Michelle, is that there's so many very beautiful
Yes.
parts of this. Well, go ahead, Tim.
Well, this
No, I'm finished. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Beautiful. Thank you.
this is very illuminating. Thanks, you guys. I feel like we've taken way too much time for this stream in both these weeks, so we should probably move on. But it's been just very, very helpful, and I'm going to keep working on this.
Well, yeah, let's hear from Marina and MJ and Mohammed first. I don't know Mohammed, maybe you're unfamiliar with it, but Marina, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I've got a bit of an unstable connection here, so that's why I keep flipping in and out, which is a shame. So I'll have to pick up Michelle's comments on YouTube later. Tim, I guess, yeah, the thing that's sticking with me, which has come up, you know, several times, is about the art. And I'm thinking about, and I'm wondering, because we've talked about value and we've talked about art. And the thing that struck me is that, you know, you are conscious or you're aware of there's some bad art. And I wonder what feelings there are around for you when you see bad art and what bad art means to you. Now, my thoughts are never very, never very clear, and I often come at things intuitively. So, and then I have to work backwards. But I think what I'm getting is something of the shadow is in that place. So something of your shadow is in a place where you see, where you're making a judgment on bad art and what that may or may not mean to you. That's it, really.
Well, that's a really good observation. I hadn't thought of this before, but what bad art means to me is usually it reflects a person who refuses to look at their own life. Because to me, bad art is mere decoration. It's just something to cover up a blank space on the wall. And when the alternative is looking at an image that can dig into you and reveal something about yourself, putting up um, something that is less than transformative is just it's almost an escape from your own responsibility to look at yourself. I think that's a beautiful observation. I think that's really right. That's the shadow place.
Mohammed, did you, you might have came in late. Did you have any, did you know, hear enough to make any observations?
Well, hello everybody. It's great seeing you again.
Hi.
And
Hi.
yeah, I didn't hear the dream, so I actually don't know what to say.
Oh, okay.
But it would be great if I can share my dream next time, because I know
Well,
this time is
sure.
too late. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Well, if you, I think everybody's talked. Did you want to just give us your dream right now? Let me see if I gotta find my darn thing.
I mean, yeah, I can do it quickly if you want.
Yeah, sure. Let me get any kind of a writing instrument. Okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
Can I share a photo because I have
Yes,
a quick
definitely.
drawing of it?
Yes.
Okay, so can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
So this is a quick drawing of a mosque. So I was in a mosque, and like in a mosque, usually in small mosques, there is two floors, and usually when the first floor is full, people go automatically to the second floor. But in this dream, strangely, I was on the stairs with other people and with my father as well. And then somehow someone realized that we should go to the second floor, and like this is where I saw my father going up. And during this time, while he was going up, he dropped his money pocket. He dropped it to the first floor, and I found myself walking around. This is me on the blue. I found myself walking around between people, like looking for something, but I didn't know at that time what I was looking for. But somehow people start coming to me and giving me money, like the money that my dad dropped. And it was like a lot of money with different currencies, and I was just receiving it. And then at some point, I couldn't get more of it. So at that time, my friend showed up and he started receiving money as well.
Okay.
So yeah, this was my dream.
All right. So let me see if I can go through it real quick here. You were in a mosque. There's two floors. Okay. And the first floor is where people gather. What happens on the second floor?
Usually, the second floor gets full when the first floor is full. So this happens
Okay.
In this order. But in the dream, we were on the stairs. It was
You're on
strange.
the
We were on the stairs.
stairs.
Yeah,
You're on the
sitting on the
stairs.
stairs.
So are you between the first and second floor then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, not
So
just me, with other people.
yes. So you're
Yeah.
kind of suspended between above and below. So you're in the midpoint, okay? You're
Yeah.
in the midpoint of above and below, and there seems to be a gathering of people there. So there's a collective there. Now your father is your father. So the masculine or logos principle actually does go ascend into the second floor. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he drops psychic energy on the way up of his money, his billfold, or his money pocket, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So as he ascends, he loses psychic energy, and the psychic energy remains at the midpoint. So when he ascends, he lost psychic energy. Now, this is a very interesting little comment about that the energy, the most energy is not below or above. The energy remains in the midpoint, between the two worlds, the upper and the lower. Okay. And then a lot of other people in this temenos, it's a sacred place, it's a sacred vessel, are also, there seems to be an unlimited amount of psychic energy when you are in the midpoint between the above and below, when you're at the center. Okay. There seems to be like a cornucopia of psychic energy coming, or just this unending flow. And in fact, you get to a point where you can't take anymore. And so then it keeps coming, though. It goes to someone else, maybe even like your shadow figure. I'm not sure. Now, there does not seem to be a lot of feminine presence in here. The mosque itself is feminine. Any houses
Yeah.
are any containing vessel is feminine. So was there any other feminine aspect in it other than the mosque?
Well, no.
No. So other than that, it's all has all masculine principle. So what's very interesting to me is this suspension between the above and the below, and that this is the place where psychic energy remains, even when your father ascends into the upper realms. The psychic energy remains at the midpoint. What do you think, Gary?
What did the father drop again from the top floor?
His billfold.
Oh, that's
His money
interesting
pocket.
because, I
As
guess
he's going up.
because, it's like, normally you would think of something like that as a loss, you drop your billfold and now it's lost. But in this case, it's like, losing something from above is actually, it's like, it falling into a very spiritual place. It ends up being multiplied and comes to you at the place of in between. I mean, I think that's all I can really add. I thought you had a pretty good analysis.
Yeah. What do you think, Roy?
Well, yeah, I was getting this picture of the father's, not many people are on the other floor, but the father goes there, so it's like a separation. And you say money is psychic energy, but I like to look at it as self-worth, self-value. And it's like a passing of self-value to the son. And the greatest thing that your father can give to you is a good reputation. He can do incredible things with that. So I'm picking that up. He's going to give you his virtue, his good reputation.
Very good.
Thank you.
What do you think, Tim?
One thing that crosses my mind is, if this were my dream, I'd be thinking about the difference between the two levels. Like the upper level for me would be the spirit, and the lower level would be the body. And the dropping of energy from the upper to the lower, for me, because sensing is my inferior function, I always have to remember to stay alive in my body and not just stay in my head. And so for me, if that was my image, I'd be thinking about what is my opportunity to to interrogate my body or my body experience in the world, or the way that the actual physical life happens before me, rather than getting stuck on ideas and um, the intellectual life that is so much a part of our culture. So that to me is a really interesting aspect of it.
Yeah, the middle realm, you know, Hillman tells us, is the realm of the soul. You know, this is the vital realm. You know, the realm of spirit and the realm of is too far removed from the earth, and body is too far removed from spirit. So this middle realm of soul is really um, where you is the development of soul is supposedly our task on earth. You know, what do you think, Ivan?
And it's also, you're in
Yeah.
this period of transition between the upper and the lower, and the stairs go both up and down.
Yes,
And
yes.
so you have the capacity to follow your father up into the upper realm, or to go down with the rest of the people in the lower realm.
Yeah, it's just funny when he goes up in the upper realms, the value, as Roy says, stays in the middle realm. So the value doesn't follow him into the realm of spirit, which is a little bit disconnected from the body or the earth. It's not grounded. It's very ethereal. What do you think, Ivan?
Just I agreed with the idea of the idea of gaining something by losing, the dropping of something.
Yeah, it's what do you? How about you, Charles?
I thought this one was really cool because it really sparked a lot of images in my head. It just kind of gave me this idea of, you know, I don't know, it makes me think of myth of, like, you know, when the gods were close to or when heaven was close to earth, and then eventually, you know, the gods kind of left man. And it makes me think of the Father God being near, but then ascending, and kind of like with his ascension, like a big dispersion of energy across the face of the earth, because you said the money was in all sorts of different currencies, Mohammed.
Yeah, true.
And it makes it's I just think it's really interesting. It's like collecting the scattered pieces that he left behind and then bringing them back all into one place. Who, in you're the, you know, obviously the son of the Father. It's like a kind of transition type of event where the, you know, Father leaves and disperses his energy across the face of the earth, and there's this collective effort to draw them all back into one place and give it to the rightful heir. And it's like collecting the fragmented pieces of the archetype or something. And so did you not leave the stairs the whole time? The people on the floor just picked up the money and brought it straight over to you, correct?
Yeah, so the people on the first floor, they were sitting, and when that happened, I was walking around, and they start walking onto me. But the
Okay.
people who were on the stairs, they followed my father, and they went upstairs.
Okay, interesting. And then at one point you were not able to hold any more money.
Yeah, exactly. And this is when like a real actual friend came, and he started collecting money also.
Interesting. Yeah, it's like that what was left behind by the departure was too much for you to digest and hold and take in, and so some of it had to be lent over to a more unconscious part of you, because just not being able to hold all the energy and pieces of the Father archetype and kind of take, it's kind of like, it makes me think of the literal father kind of like being like the archetype is like kind of not projected onto him anymore. And with that, its energy is scattered all over, and you have to then put it back together so that you can assimilate it into yourself and have your own living relationship with the father archetype, not just your literal father. But it's so much energy and so much information, and just, I feel like energy is an inadequate word. I can't even, it's like living, breathing information and soul psyche pieces, that part of it has to go to the unconscious, and whatever part it goes to, then your next step will be maybe developing a relationship with that. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Mohammed, did you view this as a literal kind of a prophecy that you were going to get
I was actually interested
money, or
about,
did you more
yeah,
think?
yeah. Well, the money I get it that it's not literal, like maybe it
Okay.
was knowledge or information, but I was interested about the real friend who showed up. Like, is there some prophecy there that me and him are going to share some kind of knowledge in the future? Yeah, this is the question that was in my head.
It could have. It's very unlikely that it's prophetic. It's usually. I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't be, but it's usually has something to do with the richness of existence is in this place, between the above and the below. So it's this kind of a magical place between the very, very spiritual and the very, very earthy. There's this middle realm of what Hillman, would call the metaphorical world, which is, what you try to get in touch with, which I think most dreams are in this realm. They're not spiritual, they're not earthy, they're soul-like. What do you think, Kevin? Or Kevin, are you there?
Yeah, sure. There's some mosque only have for guys, but some mosque also have for girls. I was thinking in this mosque, like, is there usually a girl downstairs or upstairs, or?
Well, usually there is like separate room for feminine.
Okay, for
But
fem.
but,
I was
but in
just
this dream, like, yeah, sorry, I said that just in this dream, all I saw around was masculine figures.
Okay, yeah. I don't have so much to add, but I was thinking, like, what struck me, what you said, you're looking for something, and you said you don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, when you say looking for something, would you feel like it's more of a big thing, small thing, or what feelings came up?
I felt like people around have something to give me, but I didn't know what is this something. So I was just looking around, and
and they gave you money afterwards.
Yeah, like I didn't wonder so much between them. It was not for a long time, and then they started coming up one by one and handling the money.
Okay, and the other thing was that you said you were working there. So you're in a mosque and you were working there. What did you do? What were you working with?
Actually, in the beginning, I was just sitting in the stairs. I wasn't working. I was
Sitting
just
in the
sitting.
stairs,
Yeah, with my father and other people.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have so much things to add. To be honest, I feel like Charles also, yeah. But I found it interesting that you felt you are looking for something. Where in your life are you looking for something? And that you are in the mosque, and now people are handing you money, basically. I can't really say much what it means, but for me, it was something I would ask myself, where in my life am I looking for something, and what am I looking for? I think I would spend time on that.
You know, that's a really interesting point, Kevin,
Yes.
because it strikes me that maybe the part of you on the stairs is like the ego, and maybe all these other people are like other parts of you, and you have to look outside the ego. Just throwing that out.
Well, it makes my heart soar on this level. If this is my dream, and I knew that that in this, I mean, what really strikes me at this point in my life is the fact when I'm suspended between the spirit and the earth, between the above and the below, you know, that that it's a place of an almost unlimited amount of psychic energy, or is coming to me. Riches come from that place. So, and this is the place really of Jungian psychology. I mean, it's almost a dream about someone has an aspect of you need to develop the soul world. And so now this middle realm is the realm of dreams. And so the middle realm, the suspended between the above and the below, is the dream, the realm of images is what Jung calls it. So if you stay in this realm, the dream seems to be telling us that there's a lot of um, uh, of wealth and value are going to come from there. Christian, maybe you could just tell us real quick, if you had this dream, what would you feel any emotions or anything? Just pretend you had this dream. What would you think? Oh, you don't have to answer, but I just was just like, if you had had this dream, what would you could you just, let's say it was your dream. You were on the middle of a stairs in a sacred place where people are descending and ascending. And in the middle realm, there just seems to be this constant flow of psychic energy. What do you have any reactions to that?
Well, I guess I could say, it seems like a pretty heady experience. It's certainly, apart from the kind of energy symbolized by the money itself. I mean, the place, the spiritual setting is emotionally charged. People are emotionally charged thing for me. So the whole situation is like really I don't know, a tension grabbing for me. And it occurs to me what an incredible boon it would be like to not only recover some money, but then it just starts flowing abundantly. I tend to get pretty excited about such things, and it was interesting to me that you touched on kind of the concept of prophecy from a dream, which that piqued my curiosity, because I don't know much about this, but that's definitely a hopeful place that any dream with a huge boon like this could draw. But yeah, it just really yeah, and the in-betweenness in the spiritual setting. I don't experience that a lot in my dreams, like being in stairs or being in a halfway place. So that's interesting. That's piquing my interest for whatever reason. But yeah, that's all I really had. But thank you all for sharing with your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, just I'm thinking when I think of that middle place, Mohammed, between the stairs, it's such an unusual place. It's like kind of like Gary's hallway, it's this unusual place of transition, the middle's place, that when I'm thinking about it, my heart swells. It just really does. I mean, I feel a swelling in my heart because there's something about that that has that aspect. Marina, what do you think? I'm sorry you're everybody's having bad internet today.
Yeah, thanks. I think I have got some thoughts around money and values. So money equals values, whatever values mean to you, Mohammed. But there's something about picking up what Charles said about something is scattered. So I'm going to come at it from my mind that my father's money is scattered around in a sacred space. He has dropped it. I wonder if there's any feelings around the dropping, whether it was a panicky feeling or whether, what was going on. But so if money is values, it's scattered around, then it's coming to you in different currencies. So there's kind of like an international or global dimension to it. And it's coming back to you, but not wholly. So I think that there is something about the transitional place of the stairs, the transitional place of your life. And then your friend seems to be very important to you in this dream. So then I'm thinking, what qualities does this friend have? Is there something about the friend that resonates with you in a way that connects with the theme of value? I don't know if that's helpful at all.
It could be possibly a shadow figure. I am interested, Mohammed, on what your emotions were when you had this dream. I mean, what did you feel that it had something about it that was needed? You're looking for answers. You're looking for something there. What do you think about this dream? I mean, about the fact that it's in this, you spend the whole time on the stairs.
Yeah, well, when the father dropped the money pocket, I find myself spontaneously on the first floor looking for something. And then when people started giving me the money, like I was surprised because I didn't expect that amount of money, and I didn't expect to have it in different currencies. And then also the third time when my friend showed up and start collecting, I was also happy because like I knew that I couldn't collect anymore.
Do you live in a place where you see a lot of different currencies?
Well, yeah, because I lived in two countries. So yeah, I saw my Algerian currency and I saw the European currency. But even in the dream, yeah, but even in the dream, I saw also the UK currency, which I never used in my life. So.
Yeah, well, there is something about that this this psychic energy from it's coming from all different sources. I mean, there's so many energies within us, and it's coming from here and it's coming from there and it's coming from there. So it seems like it is that there you've got multiple centers in your psyche that are providing this energy. You know, it has a, I mean, I would say, and if anybody else can do a sum up, is that that if I had this dream, I'm just saying, if I had this dream, it would tell me that this place between the upper and the lower worlds is a place I need to explore more. You know, it is a sort of this middle realm, and I don't know. I mean, who wants to explore a set of stairs? But the just this transitional point between the upper and the lower opens up a some kind of a portal that you can't open above. It doesn't open above. It doesn't open below. But when you get in the middle section, the some type of opening, permeability comes, and then energy flows. You know, so where does the energy flow? It flows in the transition between us. If you can find those two, the midpoint between this spiritual and this earthy realm, then something starts flowing. I mean, I think this is a very profound dream, and
Can I just ask?
you know, it'd be beyond most of us. Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
I was thinking, Mohammed. Have you heard of? Have you done any what's called? Have you heard of Tabligh Jamaat?
I didn't well hear you. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, have you heard of Tabligh Jamaat?
No, I have no idea.
It's Tabligh Jamaat is a movement that started. Okay.
No, I'm curious.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, can you spell it
Perhaps
in the chat?
Tabligh is very Tabligh Jamaat. Tabligh Jamaat is a movement that started in India, and it's like and they go from mosque to mosque, and in Tabligh Jamaat I have seen people get overwhelmed by psychic energy. They pray pretty much 5 times a day. They are up in the evening up till 3-4 in the morning. You can there are many of them, and they're you can hear them cry, and they have devoted their life to this. And so Tabligh Jamaat, but I've also seen many people get overwhelmed by Tabligh Jamaat. It's just too much for them. I've seen, the things I've seen is very special. But I was thinking if you did Tabligh Jamaat, because there's something about people that goes to Tabligh Jamaat and comes back, and often they are overwhelmed by the archetypal psyche. They are so much constellated.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's a very good dream, Mohammed, and I don't know. I mean, it is a dream of sort of an image and not really a story to some extent. I mean, it doesn't have an end to it, but there is a place where energy flows, I think is the sort of what it says. Does anyone have a short dream that they want to give, either Ivan or Charles or Kevin, or you can just start on one?
Yeah, I mean, I could share one. There is, there's I kind of want to bring in a particular set of dreams. I know I like doing the most recent ones, but there's a particular set of dreams that I want to work on really best. So let me grab my notebook real quick, and I'll get the first one to you guys. 1 second.
Yeah. While he's getting it too, I just wanted to tell everybody if during any time you want to discuss a dream with me, just email me and we can set up a special time and just do a one-on-one if you don't think you're getting your dreams amplified.
Well, it's
You know,
just
if you have a special dream you want to talk about, we
there.
can do it during the week. Go ahead.
That would be nice. It's just about a year ago. For about a month and a half, I would have these really profound dreams and would just wake up in the most terrified, absolutely scared out of my mind. And I kind of just felt like I was still dreaming. I felt like I was in deep water and a big fish was just going to come up behind me and swallow me whole, like after I had awoken. And I was absolutely just terrified out of my mind every single time I woke up. And I don't really know why or what it exactly was trying to say. It was like I was so deep in the unconscious that even waking up, I couldn't fully bring myself out of it right away. But it started with this dream on August 5th of last year. I was talking to people over the internet on a video game, and all of a sudden I had some type of intuitive hunch about something. And I said, "Don't you hate when you have an intuitive thought that you wish wasn't true, but you know it is?" The people I was playing with and speaking to said no, and they didn't understand at all. And later, I'm in a house, and I described them as MIB agents. So 3 men in black suits enter, and they ask if there has been a spirit or an entity present nearby. I ask my cousin over the microphone, and he says, yes, there's been an ET, extraterrestrial. And then I begin to wake from my dream from fear that sets in the dream. It scares the crap out of me that he said that. So
Okay,
yeah,
so I mean let's just go over this real quick. Let's see. You are talking to people in a so like somewhat like we're doing right now. You're communicating with people who aren't and you suddenly have an intuitive hunch. That's first. They're talking to people, and while you're talking to people, you have this intuitive hunch, and then you say, "Don't you wish that the intuitive hunch you had wasn't true?" Can you say that again?
yeah, so don't you hate when you have an intuitive thought or hunch that you wish wasn't true, but you know it is?
Yes. Okay. So it isn't something you really know, but it is something that you're pretty sure is true, and you wish it wasn't happened, but there doesn't seem to be. It seems to be pretty that it is real.
Mm-hmm.
Now then this authority figures come and they want to know if there's any spirit or entity nearby. Now, are they knocking on your door?
Well, they just sort of enter.
They just sort of enter. So they enter your room, and you weren't expecting these authority figures to come in, were you?
No, it's not.
No. Okay, were you expecting any spirits or entities?
No, I was just on my computer playing a game, talking to people.
And then your brother
or cousin
says, now this is that post hoc propter hoc thing here. That each thing is not there for no reason. Okay, so then your brother, he's in the room with you.
My cousin.
Your cousin.
He's in contact with me over the microphone.
Okay, and he says yes, there are extraterrestrials nearby, which is for some reason it is a very alarming to you that they might be nearby. Is this related to the intuitive hunch you had earlier?
I suppose so. Can't say for sure, but I would say
Well,
it's
see,
a pretty
because-
safe bet.
All right, you're talking to people. Then the second part is this intuitive hunch, and you. So in other words, you're you have an idea that something very dangerous might occur, or something unwelcome, and you say that you wish it wouldn't come, but you know it will, but you don't know what it is. It's just this intuitive hunch, expecting something alarming or surprising. And then something alarming or surprising does happen. You know, these agents of authority were kind of act like they come from the secret realm, you know, want to know if there are any spirits or entities present. And somebody says, yeah, there are. So, I mean, that sort of seems like then the floor drops out from under you for some reason, you know. What do you think, Gary?
I don't know, it almost reminds me of this previous dream because, you know, you sort of have these threatening figures which are not well defined. And except in this case, you know, it's extraterrestrials, but they didn't actually do anything, did they, Charles?
The men in suits that came
No,
in.
in this dream, no, this one, the extraterrestrials. Did it just end with the extraterrestrials?
No, there weren't any extraterrestrials there. It's just that when they asked, have there been any spirits or entities or anything, I went on the microphone and I'm like, hey, I talked to my cousin, like, you know, these men in suits are here. They want to know if there's been any like ETs or or spirits or anything. He's like, oh yeah, there have been. There's been ETs, and that just awoke the most unbelievable fear in me.
Now, why would that awaken fear in you?
You know, I've been thinking about these dreams in this time period quite a bit, and this one, to me, my thought about it was it's an indicating that like the ego is not alone. Like I'm not alone in here.
Okay,
There's something alien to me.
You're
living.
not alone. Yeah. There's something inside you. So I mean, you have this image that you might you know, be slightly schizophrenic or something, and that this is a symbol that you might be. What do you think, Roy?
Oh, no, I'm getting this feeling like he knows something, a secret, something. He knows something. He wish he didn't know. His cousin's in on it too. Of course, he can't tell us because it wouldn't be a secret. But it's kind of haunting. I have no idea what it is.
I think that is kind of what it is that you're talking about your own psyche, and when someone says, are there any other consciousnesses in my psyche, and the shadow says, yes, there are, and they're very foreign. At that point, it's a confirmation of something that you were suspecting but hoping wasn't real, is that there's another conscious awareness in you. I mean, you're a two-headed being, or possibly, you know, there's this other autonomous entity in you which you have no control over, and it's very it's very foreign and strange because it's an extraterrestrial. What do you think, Kevin?
Say, can I make
Yeah.
I've got to
Go
leave
ahead,
here,
Tim.
but I think if this was my dream, I would spend a lot of time maybe dialoguing with that extraterrestrial what is it about that that is so frightening? It's been a long time in my dream life that since I've had something like that that really scared me. And I've been kind of looking forward to the next one because I want to have this kind of dialogue, because that tension is where the growth comes from. So that's just what sticks out for me. And now I gotta go. So thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Tim. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, it's a very interesting dream. I really like this type of dream, Charles. You don't know, like when I get this type of dream, I am working, like I am working my ass off, like because this kind of dream tells us it tells us the pathway of different complexes, where they're coming from, who made them. You know, your shadow knows more somewhat about them than you know, because he knows that they have been there. You know, you are just asking for his confirmation. So your shadow aspect, which is often more repressed, but this is your cousin. So there is a potential for conscious awareness of this autonomous complex. And when there is autonomy, there is also Mercury. And yes, so this complex is obviously alien to you. So it's something coming, you know, from a different world, something you haven't understood. But you also have defenses towards it. The MBTI, the man in black, which is a good thing. You know, if they are too overwhelming, you would need the man in black. But if it was me, I would do dialogue with my shadow. I think this is like the best opportunity to do a dialogue with the shadow. It's something about you and your shadow, and something about that connection, I think, also towards this autonomous entity. But I would say it's an alien complex which works under radar, but there is potential for awareness, and your shadow is showing that. So I think it's a good dream. I mean, it's bad, but it's good also. Like,
What do you think, Ivan? We got to get a dream from you next time too, if possible.
Sure.
You're the best dreamer in town.
So to me, it was interesting that I think your shadow knows something that you don't, and
yes,
because there was the comment at the start about the intuition, and the shadow's response was, "No, I don't ever have that feeling." Right. And also, but one thing I wanted to ask you was, did you feel that your intuition that you had at the beginning had to do with the extraterrestrials, or was the intuition around something else?
I mean, you know, in hindsight, I do feel like it almost had to be connected, like almost like, yeah, I just got a hunch that, you know, something's about to happen. Like, you know, there's just something in the air. You know, that's kind of what it's like. There's just something in the air. I mean, something's just not right. That's
Did you
kind
have
of
any
what
feeling as to why the men in suits appeared?
I mean, I don't really know. I mean, all I can really say is that apparently they're searching for something alien or something out of place, and they meant business. They were like very serious about it.
Because it strikes me that men in suit would represent something formal or rigid, and so they might be representing some aspect of your personality that is trying to remove the unknown, right? The extraterrestrial portion.
Yeah, they do seem a little bit like there are multiple of them, so maybe a little bit collective, a little bit like what's the word I'm looking for? That I don't know, like they were almost maybe on some type of witch hunt. It's like something I want to, that unknown thing, I want to protect it from them because they're going to shed the light on it or something. I'm not sure.
think they're absolutely inevitable because of the intuitive hunch. I mean, that was the purpose of this discussion of the intuitive hunch. You have that discussion, people say they've never heard it. Boom, here comes what your intuitive hunch consisted of. That there's another, and not only does this authority figure in the psyche know about it, but there is another entity in the psyche that they're looking for. And yes, the shadow says, yeah, he exists too. And he's very strange. He comes from a far, far, far away place. So the dream is very logical. You know, there's something in the air and I don't know what it is. And I wish it wasn't true, but I know it is. Here comes the authority figure. Yes. And where is he? Has anybody seen him? And you haven't, but the shadow says, yeah, he's here. You know, I mean, so it's that's where the two aspects of the dream are. You don't hear that first part and not hear that second part. How about you, Mohammed? Did you have any thoughts about this?
Well, while hearing you trying to explain the dream, I was thinking about the psychology of the selves, the theory developed by Hal and Sidra Stone. And like it talks about this, about the psyche composed of different autonomous entities and how we can bring them to dialogue together. I don't know. This is the only thought I have.
Well, how about does Christian? Did you have anything to say, or does anybody have a last word about this? Roy, you seem to have something to say. Did you?
No, he only talks about different ways people act. And one of the things people do is they're naive. And he appears to be naive on this. He's doing the naive thing, but he knows, but he's not ready for it yet. But it's coming.
Yeah, there's something, and I think these alarming dreams really are trying to, you know, sitting on top of a volcano of dreams, the alarming ones are really trying to get the attention. And I think the one thing you could do is to do at least a drawing of it. A drawing is as much an active imagination as anything, and you're pretty good at that. Marina's back in here, and Christian, do you or Marina have anything to add to this dream? And then we'll kind of call it a night. I think if Marina's, yeah, Marina, are you, did you have any comments on Charles' dream? Sorry about the internet. Boy, mine's kind of poopy today too. Are you, can you unmute yourself, Marina?
Yeah, sure. I hope I don't get off. It's really
Okay.
it's really distressing, isn't it? Yeah, Charles, I guess, you know, this is what I was thinking. I was thinking that you're having a collective, you're talking to some people on a video game, so you're having a connecting experience, and then you're overwhelmed with this feeling and this hunch, and then you say out loud to them, "Oh, don't you hate it when this feeling comes over you?" And they kind of go, I get the impression they go, "No," and I'm wondering how that makes you feel. Completely disconnected, and when you feel disconnected from the collective, you know, in life, you can sometimes feel, you know, like an alien, like you're like you're a weirdo, you know. I know the feeling because I've had it myself, and you can feel on the edge, and then that can activate complexes that I can't remember who was talking. It was Ivan was talking about internal complex, and that can be, you know, your alien complex. Activates something internally, and then the guys turn up, the persecutory figures of the internal world, you know, the Garda, or, you know, whatever. We all have them, and then I don't know, your cousin again, that's kind of a connection. That's a family connection. And he comes into it, and then it gets and then it kind of constellates in something frightening. And you know, you've held on to that dream.
Yeah,
This
I
is
think-
really important. You've held on to that dream for a year, and sometimes it takes a year. Sometimes it takes even longer to process some of these complexes, these constellating things that get activated within us. It's good. I'm glad that you've shared it.
Yeah, thank you. It really resonated with me when you spoke about the kind of alienation of, you know, I ask these people, hey, haven't you ever felt like this? And they're like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. And so, yeah, that's, you know, alienating. And I very much do feel like that. I feel like I am alienated by my alien. I'm like, doesn't anyone else have this alien in them? Like, no, not at all. I have no idea what you're talking about. So yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, but the shadow says that you do. Well, I want to mention two things. Number one, if anybody would like to discuss the dream during the week, just email me and we'll set up a time, and maybe we can then bring it in to the group as a summary too. And Christian, did you have any comments? Like if you had this dream, what emotion would you be feeling?
Well, as I was listening to some of the other thoughts on it, and I was thinking about the sense of fear, and like I can imagine different reasons why I might be afraid of aliens and things like that. But when listening to kind of the last few comments, something that occurred to me is like there's something about being the last one to know that invokes fear in me. So it's like it's almost like I have these dreams of conspiracies sometimes, and it's like I'm the last one to know that I'm involved in this kind of invasion of the body snatchers type of situation. So I'm curious if there's any of this kind of like last to know, or other people can see something that I don't see. That maybe.
Yeah, that does seem like it's part of it, Charles, and plus I think there's a suspicion in the dream ego that this is your psyche here, that you're really exploring your own psyche, and so you've been suddenly feeling alienated, and now you feel there is an alien within you, you know. So there, you not only feel alienated, but here's the alien himself, you know. Well, anyway, again, I think to keep things going, if people want to discuss a dream with me during the week, we can spend 30 to 45 minutes on it, and after that, we can kind of present it in summary form in the session, and maybe get a so we can get to everybody. I like everybody to have a dream, maybe once a week or something, but just contact me either through the email or through Facebook. But anyway, well, it's we've had some, and Marina is doing a lot of research on the on Arthur's seat. So maybe you can tell us next time a little more about Arthur's seat, Marina. When you
maybe.
Yeah, okay. It's something to do with the quest, she thinks. So anyway, well, thank you everyone, and we'll meet now. Let's try to make sure everybody gets a dream. So Roy and Ivan and Kevin and Christian and Marina. Well, I don't know. We'll just make sure that everybody gets a dream in here. So we'll see you next time.
Bye bye, everyone.
Okay, bye,
night.
guys. Thank you.